The sound you hear is what some experts claim to be a Bigfoot scream. Recorded in the state of Washington by a group of campers in 1971, it is regarded as the highest quality audio of the creature ever captured.
Hello! Welcome to Bigfoot Real Encounters. We're glad to have you stop by. We'd also like to take this time to invite you to share your encounter. You can send your stories to the email bfrealencounters@mail.com, where we will feature your story with all of the respect that it deserves. So send your stories in, bfrealencounters@mail.com. We look forward to hearing from you and your great stories soon. Hello everyone, welcome to Bigfoot Real Encounters. I'd like to welcome back returning viewers as well as new viewers to this channel. This is a safe place to share your encounter that you may have had with a Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Sabe, Wendigo, all the other names associated with the creature we commonly know as Bigfoot. The atmosphere is ripe for sharing your encounter. The time of being laughed at, ridiculed by news media and other folks is over. We are the eyewitnesses. Therefore, we know what we saw. They weren't there. People who sit behind a desk and look in books and listen to people tell their encounters and make judgments about it are wrong. They did not see it. They did not experience it. You and I did. This is our way of getting our story out, our encounters out, which is fact. We are eyewitnesses. And we know the weight of an eyewitness in a court of law on any subject matter. All right. Now today's video is going to be about encounters that happened many, many years ago and were not told because of all the things that I just mentioned. That people were afraid to bring it up because of ridicule, because of fear of losing jobs, losing clients, etc., on and on, because those in a power thought it necessary to keep this subject from us, put it into the realm of stories, and to discredit and ridicule people when they told what happened to them. Therefore, to keep it as quiet as possible. Now, we don't know why. And right now, there are several channels and people digging to get to the bottom of it. And that's fine. But my focus is, let's get these encounters out. If you've had an encounter, now's the time to tell it. People are listening, okay? And less people are ridiculing and poking fun. Now's the time. So I'm reaching back into encounters from long ago. Now this first encounter that I'm talking about right now is a lady has left a comment on my YouTube channel after one of the videos that she listened to, and we're going to read it. And this comment says, I am an 81-year-old woman, and I'm going to tell you my story. Now, this happened about 1946 or 47. It happened in Maryland at a place called Sunrise Beach. Now, at this time, it was all woods and surrounded by water. It also had caves. My cousin bought a piece of property here. I was about 6 years old and my sister 3. My cousin took us for a picnic here one day. We were told not to go down by the water. My sister and I did not listen and were picking berries from trees. Almost by the water, I had to go pee. There was a cave there, and we decided to go in the cave. We took a couple of steps inside, and the smell was so bad, we turned to leave, and there she was. I say she because she had breasts. I just froze. I was terrified. She was standing against the wall of the entrance. She was enormous. She was covered in hair, except she had no hair on her face or her breasts. She just stood there. I took my sister's hand and decided to walk past her. I told my sister not to run. We slowly walked past her out of the cave. She did not follow us. I will never forget this as long as I live. I did not know what it was, but I know it wasn't an animal. The hair on her was medium brown, and she had dark brown eyes. They looked very sad. She did not hurt us. We never told anyone because we would have been punished for being down by the water. I'm 81 years old now and have never forgotten that smell. This is my story, and it is true. Thank you for letting me tell my story. Charlotte Shiflett. Well, you're very welcome, Charlotte. I hope that you're listening to this. And it is sad that you had to have waited so long to tell your story. Now we have more information about these beings and another report of the creatures looking sad. This is not the first time that we have heard this. Maybe some of you are new to the Bigfoot subject and looking into it. Maybe you've just recently had an encounter, or have heard somebody or know somebody that had an encounter, and you're just starting to look into the subject. But there have been other encounters that I have had the privilege to narrate, where that they said the Sasquatch creature was sad appearing. And we get a lot of that, but most of the time they appear angry. So these beings are rather emotional. We've heard happy, we've heard silly, we've heard of them playing with people, but there have been several of them appearing sad. So just another piece of information that these creatures, as well as being intelligent, have all the same emotions that we do. And it's just very interesting. So Charlotte, thank you for letting us know what happened to you and your little sister. And before I continue on to our next eyewitness encounter, I would like to encourage you, if you have had an encounter, send in your encounter. We will faithfully narrate your encounter word for word, minus any vulgarity type of thing. You know what I'm talking about. Just to keep it clean. But we will not change any of the details, any facts or anything. I'll just cut out the cuss words. But anyways, we'll faithfully narrate your encounter, as I just did for Charlotte, and send it in. You need to tell it. We need to hear it. The information contained in your encounter is very, very much needed, and perhaps there's a detail that you will tell us that we have not heard before, and we can add it to the overall picture. Okay? So it's important, and you need to tell it. You do. You know you do. You've been holding it in, and it bothers you. Reason I know that is because we have heard many times that this type of thing has an effect on people. Whenever there's an encounter, it affects people for long periods of time, and they feel better once they tell it. Okay, so here we are. We'll let you tell it. I'll read it for you. We're not going to criticize you. We will believe you. So send it in, bfrealencounters@mail.com. All right. Also, like, share, subscribe. Those things that you hear all YouTubers do gets the channel and the videos promoted more by YouTube. The more people see it and view it, and the longer that they watch each video, causes the YouTube automatic system to recommend it to more people. Thus, more people see it, more people click on it, and these encounters and this information gets out to more and more people. So that's why I keep saying it. Alright, like, share, and subscribe, and leave comments below. That also helps. If they see interaction with people in the comments below, the YouTube algorithms and automated systems pick that up as well, and it makes it favorable for them to recommend this to people looking up the subject. Alright, and check out the links in the description below. I am an Amazon affiliate, and if you click on one of the links below, some of the Bigfoot themed little trinkets down there, and you purchase one, I get a small commission. Might help me get some better equipment, you know, that type of thing. So I would appreciate that personally. But anyways, let's get on to another encounter here. And I found this one on the BFRO website. It's from my state of Ohio in Ashland County from the year 1943. Now this took place near the Mohegan State Park, and I've been there many times. It's about 50 miles away from me, and this is very, very interesting. I've read this story before, not online, but I've read the story, and I'm going to begin right here. I would be happy to send you a copy of a colored picture I drew when I was 5 years old back in 1943 of what possibly could have been a Bigfoot. I was lost out in the woods while camping with my parents somewhere in central Ohio, and this large female creature put me back in our camp. Then I started screaming, and my parents, who were out looking for me, heard me and came back to the camp and found me. I have not showed this picture to many people because they would have thought I was crazy. I was a lawyer here in Summit County for nearly 40 years, and I did not need any aspersions cast upon my sanity. I have had 2 cancer surgeries in the past 6 months, and I would now like to leave the original of this picture as a bequest in my will to the right kind of museum before anything else happens to me. I also hope that this picture might corroborate the testimony of people with similar experiences whom nobody would believe before. If you don't have the time to look at it, please let me know the address where the picture can be sent by parcel post or UPS. I am grateful that blessed creature. I'm going to read that again. I am grateful to that blessed creature for my life and would like to honor her memory in some way. Now I'm going to read up some of the notes from the follow-up investigation report on this. This says, subject stated he remembers being picked up by something. He saw its arm and he was carried. He described that it looked to him like a gorilla woman. She had deep-set, big brown eyes. Since it was so long ago, he doesn't remember details except that she had fox-like color, brownish red hair. It was covered in coarse hair. He remembered being carried for what he thought to be over a minute. He described her as fast, strong, and bigger than his father, who stood 5 feet 8 inches tall. He recalls being held. Also, an odor commonly described as dead or rotting meat. He stated that her teeth looked stained and she had bad breath. I asked, why a woman? And he said he didn't know, but she acted that way. She had no enlarged breasts, but he kept saying she had deep brown eyes, but not so deeply cut into her skull. He said she took him and cut through the forest. He was terrified. she held him in her right arm. He remembers how fast she walked and that she cut through the forest like butter. And she knew where she was going. He said he cried hard, was terrified. But she did not hurt him. She took him to a place where his parents eventually found him, and she put a heavy branch on his legs so he could not move. Then she left. I asked about her build, and he said she was solid with good shoulders. Since it was so long ago, there was a lot he couldn't remember, but he feels that she was a woman. This witness went on to say he spent the rest of his life not sharing his story, but after retiring he thought, what the heck, and began sharing his experience. He mentioned that he could not get his parents to believe him. They passed it off as imagination. The only adult he mentioned as believing him was his kindergarten teacher, and his father was sought to discredit her by the beliefs she held. So this is a very interesting story, folks. And he drew a picture with the help of his kindergarten teacher of the creature that helped save his life. He thinks that she saved his life. And very, very interesting. And once again, he held that story in for years because of the negative social effect that telling what happened to you on this subject in particular has on people. So there we are, folks, two eyewitness encounters from many, many years ago. You know, there may be some of the our older generation folks that have had encounters of something many years ago and didn't know what it was, long before the Bigfoot craze, if you want to call it that, has been made public and come out. And as far as they knew, there was just something strange in the woods, and they never talked about it because they didn't want to be viewed as ridiculous or crazy. Maybe some of you have folks that are up in years, and they used to spend a lot of time in the woods, hunting, fishing, camping, hiking, whatever, out in the wilderness. Maybe you have an opportunity to sit down and talk with them, and without being nosy or pushy or anything like that, just straight up say, hey, did you ever see anything odd in the woods? I hear people talking about this Bigfoot thing. Maybe you saw something like that. And of course, without any indication that you're going to ridicule them or call them a liar or anything about like that, because if they had the experience, we know they're not going to lie about it. And then just sit back and listen. Maybe there'll be an encounter for you to hear about. It might surprise you. It just might. And who knows? You might get permission to have them write it down, or you write it down for them and send it in to Bigfoot Real Encounters. That would be wonderful. I would love to narrate their story word for word, minus the cuss words, at bfrealencounters@mail.com. That would be wonderful. And you might get something very unique from somebody that you know. Could be a wonderful experience. Anyway, folks, like, share, subscribe. Check out the links in the description below. Leave some comments. You can even leave your encounter in the comments, as Charlotte did. Okay, we'll see you in the next one. Once again, another great story. Thanks for tuning in. Please share your encounter. Email us, bfrealencounters@mail.com. Your story is very important. We will treat it with the respect that it deserves. Also, be sure to smash the like button, share, and subscribe. Thanks once again. We look forward to hearing from you soon. Watch out for our next video. Maybe we'll feature yours. Have a great day.